Hi everyone, it's Narelle here from the Cricut Explore and More Facebook group. Today's video is going to be a little bit different to what I would normally do. I'm not going to be showing you a Cricut project or how to do something in Design Space. We're actually going to be doing a little bit of cooking today. So what we're going to be making is some homemade gesso or homemade texture paste. The recipe is basically the same for both of those, but with gesso we just add a little bit of water. Now, why would we be doing that? Well, because over in Cricut Explore and More, we've just started a series of projects that combine mixed media with our Cricuts. Now, I've had Cricuts since way back when they first started coming out in about 2005. I now have the Cricut Explore Air 2. I don't have the Maker yet, but I have noticed that I haven't been using it very much lately, and that's because I've kind of fallen in love with mixed media. So what I wanted to do was try and combine both of those, and I got the design team and the admins involved, and we've been coming up with projects and ideas of things that we can do that we can combine our Cricuts with mixed media projects. So that's where we're going, but what I wanted to do was show you that you don't have to go to a lot of expense to do mixed media, and one of the ways to do that is to use things from around your house. And the other thing that we can do is we can make our own kind of mixed media products. So that's why today we're making gesso. It's a very, very easy thing to make and very, very inexpensive. So as I said before, the difference between the recipe for the gesso and the texture paste, all that we're doing with gesso is that we add a little dash of water at the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly show you how to do this. Very, very easy, as I said. So our ingredients that we need are half a cup of baking soda. Now in Australia we call that bicarb soda, so for the Aussies there, if you're looking for baking soda, fear not, just go and look for the old Mackenzie's bicarb soda and you'll see that it's actually called baking soda as well. So we have that. Then we'll be having 3 tablespoons of white glue. Now any kind of white glue, any kind of white craft glue is fine. I went for the cheapest that I could find at Bargain City. So don't worry about spending a lot of money on that. And then we're also going to be using 2 tablespoons of white acrylic paint. And again, I went for the cheapest that I could find. This was $5 at Bargain City. So we will be adding a little bit of water to make our gesso, but just a splush, and that really will be added right at the end to get the texture that we want. Now the reason that we're using baking soda or bicarb soda is that for texture paste we want it to be a little bit puffy. So if we used, for example, talcum powder or baby powder, we wouldn't get that puffiness. So bicarb soda obviously reacts with the other ingredients and allows us to get that puffiness. Once we add the water though, that will take some of that away and that will give us our kind of gesso base. So let's get started. So here's my half a cup of baking soda, and then I'm going to be adding my 3 tablespoons of white glue and my 2 tablespoons of white acrylic paint. I could add different colored acrylic paint and make colored texture paste or colored gesso. By all means, go ahead and do that. The one that I would probably do the most often would be black paint to give me some black gesso. But other than that, I can always color my gesso after I've made it, and I'll be doing another video that will show you how to do that. So we'll just give that a nice good mix. It doesn't take very long. It's very easy to mix, and the other thing that I like about using the bicarb soda as opposed to talcum powder is that the bicarb doesn't fly everywhere. I get a bit worried about breathing in the talcum powder into my lungs. It's not very good for you, so I find this for me is much better. So pretty much it's all mixed, and you can see that it's kind of runny. but at the moment that's what we would call texture paste. So what I'm then going to do, just to take that little bit of puffiness out so that I've got gesso, and another video I'll show you, I'll be explaining the difference between the two and what you'll use each one for, is I'm just going to put a little splush of water in there, and that, apart from splashing everywhere over me, you can see that it's just kind of changed that texture. It's made it a little bit runnier, and at that point I would call that gesso. I probably could add more water if I want it runnier, but I'm going to leave it like that and call that gesso. So let's just wipe that off there, and I'll put this back on here, and I'll show you some that I made the other day. This is my third batch that I've made. So these two batches that I've got here, I haven't added the water to, but if I open them, you can kind of see that there is liquid in there, and that's obviously the water that's come out of the glue or the paint. So before I go and use that, I would make sure that I get in there and give it a good stir. So let's find something here. So just give that a stir just to get that liquid back in there. But these two here are what I would be calling my texture paste blends, and then the one that I've just made I'll be using as gesso. So there you go, that's how easy it is to make your homemade gesso and texture paste. And as I said, I'll be coming back with another video that's going to show you different ways that we can use these two products and different ways that we can colour them. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you soon in the next one.